Yeah, some of you are looking at this and thinking, yeah, it's just a grease gun. Well, mini grease gun actually, and that it is. We've made a special modification here on the end, and with that little deal we got down here, it's actually got a lead ring around it. I wonder what that's from. I think I know what that's from. We can actually get right into the chambers here and get our lube right down there. I mean, this is going to do a lot of things. I mean, it's going to replace things like this system I've been using here for several years with the grease pots and the kitchen knives. And it normally takes a little bit of time to get this stuff from the bucket here onto the chambers in the cylinder. But with this little deal here, within about 3 seconds, I've got my chambers all lubed up. I'm sure this is how they did it back in the 1800s. No doubt about it in my mind. I normally load with cylinders out of the guns here because I'm kind of set up for that. But if you're loading on the range or someplace and you're going to actually load with the cylinder in the gun, probably the way it's done before, I mean, you got to dig into this thing with your popsicle stick or knife or whatever. Get what you figure is about the right amount out. Bring it over here. Smeared on there. It doesn't usually fit too well, so you end up with the fingers and doing that. But with our little mini luber here, this is a whole different deal. Now this is a 36 caliber, but this end that I've got on here just fits right down into there, and you squeeze a handle and you got your lube right in there where you want it. And one squeeze of our handle here, and we have a pre-measured amount of lube. And you can put that right down in the chambers. I've used this thing for a couple of days now, and it's worked out really well. I'm not going back to the other system that I had before, which was to scrape around in one of these pots over here and using a knife and then putting the lube on top of each chamber and trying to get the right amount, make sure it's shoved down, all that good stuff. So this thing works a whole lot better than that. Well, as far as volume of how much lube you can put in one of these things, the bore butter here says net weight of 5 fluid ounces. Now that's fluid ounces, and I'm pretty sure the weight here when they're talking about a 3-ounce grease cartridge is actually by weight, not by fluid ounces, making a difference. But I'm pretty sure that the whole contents of this bore butter tube would fit inside of our container here. And as far as how many chambers you can lube with this, if we have about this much from here on up lube in there, be about an ounce. You can probably get well over 40 36s. I've been using about 2/3 of a squeeze on here to get the right amount of lube in there, so I'm probably running 50 on that. A couple of probably don'ts on this thing. One of them, of course, if you leave it out in the hot sun, you might be coming out with liquid on the end of this thing. Another one might be if you mix up your own lube and you decide to pour it in this thing and let it solidify. That might be a bad deal because sometimes the lube mixture isn't correct and it'll get too hard and it just basically isn't going to feed up through this thing, and it'll be a real mess to get it out of here. So we'll kind of go through what we do here to load this barrel up. The lube that I've got is kind of stiff, so I end up working it with a spoon like this. Probably an easier way of doing this. So I get it kind of in a paste consistency, something like this. And what we're going to do is take the barrel out of this thing. That's going to allow us to pull the plunger back. How about that? I'm right down to the end. I fired probably 60 or 70 rounds. I had probably about this much in there. So now I'll pull this back, pull the plunger back. Get this on the camera, see how that goes back. Let's leave it about there. And then this thing here automatically locks that back. So then I'm going to do is work this stuff in here. That's the, isn't that bad really, but try to work too much in there, it's not going to push down enough, so I'm going to be satisfied with that amount for this demo here. Maybe a little more. I've probably got enough in there for another 40 or 50 shots. Okay, next we're going to put this back in our and release release this, shove our cylinder, our grabber back in there, what do you want to call that thing, and we'll load it back up. Now it's probably going to work for a bit here. I can see how that works. Yeah, I may end up with some air coming out eventually, but otherwise that's all it takes to load back up. Well, here's how that, what I call lube-o-matic, works on these chambers. We just insert a little bit of a squeeze, doesn't take very long at all, and we got our cylinder chambers all lubed up.